computer. All right, guys, good morning and happy July 26th. It is Wednesday. I'm coming to you alive. I'm coming to you passionate, and I'm coming to you with tremendous levels of gratitude. And here's why. I believe over the last couple of years in this industry, I have, in my own terms and in my own mind, become relationship rich. And what I mean by that is that 3 years ago, I didn't know any of you. 3 years ago, this group did not exist. 3 years ago, I didn't know people like Alex. I didn't know people like Raquel. I didn't know all these people that I've been fortunate to come across over the last couple of years and build relationships and bonds with. And so I believe that I've become relationship rich. I didn't know Christina. I didn't know Ashley. And now they're a part of our environment. And so it's just been really great to be able to see how much I've been able to build amazing relationships with amazing humans. So I'm grateful for being relationship rich today. So I'm stoked about our session today. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into our guest speaker in just a moment, but I am going to turn it over to somebody in true fast form to take us out on the field. And this person is here at every single session. Her camera is on. The kids are in the background. You know who you are. So Dominique, I'm going to actually turn the mic over to you. I'm going to have you bring us out on the field on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning. Share your sentiment, bring us out on the field. Then we'll get right into our guest speaker of the day. So Dominique Curtis, if you would do us the honor of bringing the team out on the field. Let's go.
Good morning, team. So my sentiment today is living your purpose. So whatever it is that you feel is your purpose for your career, your family, your day, live in that. And that's going to come out as sincere. It's going to come out as people are going to feed off of it, and people are going to come to you naturally. So I would just say living your purpose.
I love that. You know what? I met somebody yesterday that had never met Dominique, and she said, and she's in Victorville, which is down in Southern California on the backside of Big Bear Mountains. And she's like, I've never met Dominique. I got introduced by my sister to her. We've only talked on phone and on Zoom. She's like, I feel so connected with her. I just want to fly to San Francisco just to go spend a day with Dominique and just to say, what's up, girl, give her a hug and spend a little bit of time. And they've never met in person. And it goes right back to the point of being able to walk in your purpose. Everyone always asks me, well, what do I create on social media? You create things that are aligned with who you are as a human being and in your purpose. And when you stay in your lane, you're speaking of something that truly, truly lights up your own soul. Other people are going to feel this because you could spot phoniness from a mile away, but you also are able to feel the people that are absolutely real with who they are and what they express and walking in their purpose. So Dominique, I really appreciate that. And congratulations on your growth. She is so excited to be here to grow with us and to build her career. And shout out to her. The fact that she's doing 4 hours of driving some days to work a 16-hour shift, it's crazy. But I appreciate the message. So you guys, let's talk a little bit about human behavior before I turn the mic over. As you guys are growing in this field, obviously we want you to study psychology, study sales, and at the end of it, everything that we do is really rooted in human behavior, and not only understanding who we are, how we operate, what our principles are, how we communicate, what our languages are, what our love languages are, being able to be super introspective and taking an internal journey with the person that you are first and foremost. And sometimes that takes a little bit of unpacking. And a lot of times it takes you really getting rid of some things that may not be serving you in your life, but then holding on tight to the things that are truly serving your purpose in this world and how you're approaching consumers, your business, your family, your children, all those things. So when you think about human behavior and you think about communication, once you're able to identify this at a very, very high level within yourself, what will happen is once you practice this, you read, you study, now you're able to see patterns in other people. When you study and you understand patterns in other people, then you can address and you can communicate based on the way that they receive communication and based on their behaviors. It's kind of like being in a great relationship. You may be the person that loves acts of service, and that's the way you express and you do all kinds of nice things, but you don't receive that from your partner. You're like, oh my God, they never give me extra. Well, hold on. That might not be the language that they speak. So you have to receive it and accept it in the way that they give it. And so I'm excited about this. I've been on a human development and a human behavior journey for a very long time, but nowhere at the magnitude that Alex has been at. And Alex has been at this for over 2 decades now. And he's worked with companies like MGM. He's He's worked with Boeing. He's worked with Tony Robbins. He's worked with Chet Black. He's worked with Remax. He's worked with EXP, Real Brokerage. So his level of communication and understanding human behavior is something that I've never witnessed. I've been able to meet him a couple times. We sat in a living room in Tennessee once, and he's just kicking back with two basset hounds, like as his best friend, floppy ears in his socks, and he's just taking notes. I'm like, who is this guy? I didn't even know who he was. And then hearing him and talking to him, and then watching how he could truly analyze people and understand their behaviors by just a couple words, couple demeanor shifts, so on and so forth. It was really incredible. And then I got to spend more time with them in Arizona. So Alex, I'm a huge fan of what you do. I'm a huge fan of how connected you are as a human being. And I'm really excited about what you're going to bring to the table. So you guys, if you're a guest here today, first off, thank you for being a guest at Keep It Moving Group Coaching. And for all of our usual suspects that are here constantly supporting this cause, I want to thank you for being here. And I'm really excited to turn the mic over to Alex. So Alex, hopefully I did our introduction some justice. I didn't want to go off of any of my notes, but I did practice that this morning to make sure that I did you a solid introduction. So Alex, without further ado, let's go ahead and get rolling. And thank you for being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here at Keep It Moving Group Coaching. And it's a pleasure. It's an honor. Just to clarify for everyone, the Basset Hounds had the floppy ears, not me. These are my ears. They don't flop that much, just to clarify. When he's laying on the couch with the floppy ears, not me. Just clarifying. So, Elias, if you could allow me to share screens, that would be awesome. I'm going to do a slide deck for some of the conversation today. Hey, everyone. Pleasure to see you. Pleasure to be here today. I'm going to be talking. A lot of people in the real estate industry know me as the disc guy. My company is You Don't Know Disc. And the way that I got there, I'll tell a lot about my story and my background here in a minute. But I started talking to people who were experts in the field of disc, and I was new in the field. And disc is like this thing that you use to measure behavior. And it's like different behavioral styles. And I looked at some of these people and I'm like, okay, so help me understand. And I'm talking with the top trainers in the country. And I'm like, disc measures behavior. They're like, yes. I'm like, but your disc is fixed. And they're like, yeah. And it's like, so once you get your disc, that's always going to be your disc. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, but it measures behavior. Behavior changes. How can something that measures a movable thing be fixed? And they're like, huh. Like, this has been around since the 1920s. How am I the first person asking this question? Like, it makes no sense to me. And so I started just diving deeper and deeper into understanding this disc assessment, behavior assessments. And what it really did was, it was like, okay, so all of a sudden I started talking to them and they're like, what did you learn from Alex? It's like, well, I thought I knew disc. And then I realized I don't know disc. So I took that and made that my company name. For me, I'm known as the disc guy, but I actually hate the disc assessment. And the reason I hate it is because people use the disc assessment to put people into boxes, to put people into categories, to go, you're a D, and that's why you act this way. And for me, it's about human spectrums. It's about understanding people. So for those of you who don't know, let's see, I'm sharing screen. Are you guys able to see my desktop, see the side? Today, we're going to be talking about the cycle of self-emergence. Before I begin, I want you guys to know a little bit more about who I am and where I come from. I am at this point known as the leading expert in personality and behavior, especially in the real estate world. I can walk into a room, shake someone's hand, and within 30 seconds tell you who they are, what motivates them, how they're going to show up, and how to adapt your communication based on them. And they don't even have to open their mouth. Technically, I don't have to shake their hand. I can do it without shaking their hand. The handshake's just a cool gimmick. But the reason why has nothing to do with the disc assessment, has nothing to do with behavioral assessments. As a kid, I was physically and sexually abused. I had a lot of trauma growing up. And I'll go more into some of these stories, but I learned to read people out of necessity, not out of skill. I learned to read people and become a chameleon because it was the only way I could survive. And flash forward, I worked as an engineer because I was really good at seeing patterns. So now I've got these two different sides of my personality, this ability to read people, and then this ability to be able to see patterns and work out systems and processes. I was working as an engineer for Boeing. I helped design the 787, the Dreamliner, P-8 Poseidon, the 737 modified to hunt submarines, and the TX, which is a flight trainer for the U.S. Air Force. And I became a certified quit smoking specialist. 60-minute session, money back guarantee, woohoo, master hypnotist. And I helped this woman who came in to quit smoking, and she left and she wasn't successful. Very first client, not successful. I was like, shit. So I had her come back in. and found out the reason why she was still smoking was she forgot to mention an intake. The reason she was smoking was because her 6-year-old goddaughter was killed by a stray bullet at Baltimore. Tears pouring down her face. She couldn't say her name. After an hour and a half, she was laughing and telling me stories about Isabel. She gave me a big hug, said, "Thank you for giving me my memories back." She walked over to the window, looked out the window and said, "Right there, that was her playground. That's where she used to play. I didn't know my office was literally right next door to her school." I worked with a 17-year-old kid who shot himself in the head. Facial reconstructive surgery, he survived, and wanted to ask me the question, how do you tell the woman who's raising you, his mom, is her, that she's responsible for this? Like, she's taking care of you, but you're the reason why you did this. Like, how do I have that conversation? And to look at him and say, she may have inputted, but you're the one who did it. And for him to be able to hold space and have that conversation, to build enough trust. And the reason why is because I've been there. I worked with medical doctors who were suicidally depressed. I was one of 100 mental health providers for the Vegas shooting victims. I worked with trauma and healing trauma, and that's what I do. This disc stuff, this behavioral, this business stuff, 10% of every dollar that comes into my company goes to scholarships to mitigate mental and emotional trauma. And the reason why is because of her. I'm a single dad. And when I look at this little girl, it's like I wanted her to have a life I didn't have. I have so much self-doubt and insecurity, so many things I've had to overcome in my life, my belief in myself, who I am. People are like, "Oh my God, you're amazing." I listened to Elias's introduction and I'm just like, yep, that's me. But to be able to actually go, yeah, that's me, I'm still working on that. I'm still working to own that. But when I look at this little girl and I say, "Hey, who's the best?" She goes, "Me best, Daddy." You guys want to know what I'm proud of? I'm proud of that. I'm proud that this little girl, when I look at her and I say, "Who's the best?" and she says, "Me best, Daddy," and I want her to have that her entire life. If you guys want to learn DISC, you want to learn behavioral styles and behavioral selling, follow me on Instagram, connect up, go to some of my trainings. I offer a lot of free trainings. I got one tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff coming up. But today, what I want to talk about is you. I want to talk about this little boy. So this is my daughter. And this is a little kid I adopted. At 7 years old, he faced a lot of trauma. He was physically and sexually abused by a kid in daycare. He had emotional issues, and the psychologist told his parents the best way to handle his emotional issues was to pin him to the ground and scream in his face. He grew up and his parents didn't know how to handle him, and they looked at getting him to a psychiatric ward or taking him to a hospital. But for him, all he heard was, "My parents want to get rid of me." Between his 8th grade year and his freshman year, he gained 60 pounds because of a medicine called Remeron. Remeron was used to control the side effects of other medicines he was on, and he had pills for pills for pills. So his freshman year of high school, he went to school 60 pounds heavier with wires glued to his head. I forgot to mention he was having 40 to 50 seizures a day. And they wanted to see what a normal day looked like for this kid. So they glued wires to his head, took him to school and said, "Have fun." Kids aren't nice. This kid is me. This kid didn't grow up knowing that there was always going to be someone there for him. He didn't grow up knowing what was right or what was wrong. He learned to sacrifice everything he was for everybody else, because as long as everyone else was okay, he could earn love, as opposed to being worthy of love just because of who he was. When I became a dad, one of the biggest challenges I had was I had no idea what I was doing. All I had is what my parents did to me, which, quite frankly, they did the best they could. I love my parents. I have a great relationship with them, but they didn't know what they were doing either. And I hired a parenting coach. And I remember one day I was taking my daughter home from school, and she was just screaming. It was a 30-minute drive. And I say school, it was preschool, it was daycare, because I'm a single dad. And she was on school at the other side of town, and it took 30 minutes to drive home. And she was just kicking and screaming. And I'm like, "Can you just shut up?" Ugh. I couldn't do anything. I can't do anything about the traffic. I know you don't want to be in the car. I don't want to be in the car. And I'm just frustrated. I got home and I felt so horrible. I talked to my coach about it. I said, "I don't know what to do." And she said, "Give yourself some grace." Here's the thing, is that you were just as frustrated as she was. It's like, yeah, but I shouldn't. I just went off on myself. And she said, next time you want to feel something, give yourself permission to feel something. I dropped my daughter off at school, and it's been a year at this point. Tuesdays, she goes back to her mom's house. Tuesdays, she comes back to me. I have to go a week without seeing her, and that's hard. I dropped her off at school, and I remember I was driving home, and I just felt sad and I'm like, you shouldn't be feeling this way. You have other things you need to do, work you need to get done. And you know what? And I'm like, no. You feel sad because you're going to miss your daughter. Sit down, put on some sad music, drink some wine, make the time of it. Like, I gave myself permission to feel. The next week, when I picked my daughter up, she started screaming. I didn't think about what to do. I just pulled over to the side of the road. I got in the back of the car. I unbuckled her. She crawled on my lap and slept for an hour. And I just held her. When I put her in her car and she's screaming and throwing a fit, I go, good. Anytime someone tries to force you to do something you don't want to do, I hope you act just like this. And I'm putting you in your car seat. I had to learn to parent myself. And I think this is the first lesson I want you guys to all take note of. You are the adult in charge now. When you don't do something right, are you going to be the parent or the adult who sits there and yells and screams and tells yourself you're worthless and you can't do anything right? Are you going to be the adult who says, good try? Let's do it again. Who are you going to be for yourself going forward? Who do you want to be? What kind of a leader do you want to be for yourself? How do you want to show up and support yourself as you're moving forward? Today, I want to talk to you about a journey, and the journey is called the Cycle of Self-Emergence. This is a concept that I created out of a lot of the learning that I've gone through in really figuring out who I am and who I want to be. Life is not about creating the person that you want to be. Life is not about unbecoming all the things that you're not. It's about allowing the truest essence of yourself to come through in everything that you do. Living a fulfilled life is simple. It's aligning your goals, your actions, and your beliefs with who you truly are. Who you truly are is infinitely powerful, safe, valuable, and loved. I want you to write that down. Who you truly are, who I truly am, is infinitely powerful, valuable, safe, and loved. Infinitely valuable, powerful, safe, and loved. Write this down. Anytime you face a fear, anytime you face an insecurity, anytime you face a challenge, an emotional expression, a response you don't like, it's because you're forgetting one of these four. I am infinitely valuable, loved, safe, and powerful. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this. I'm infinitely powerful. Man, they rejected me. It doesn't matter. I'm infinitely loved. These four things, if you can truly embody these, will allow you to be able to emerge as the fullest and brightest version of yourself and allow your light to shine in a way that will drastically change the world around you. Your light is what we talk about fighting the darkness. You can't fight the darkness. How many of you have ever been out in the country, like in the middle where it's like pitch black? Have you guys ever been there? Get some people, get some hand raised. Okay, got a couple. Cool. When the floodlight kicks on, the light goes out. The light doesn't fight the darkness. It just holds its space. It's like, this is my light. Darkness stays over there. The darkness can't come in. The light's just here. That's what happens when you stand in your light. The thing is that if I stand in my light and Elias, you stand in your light and we stand next to each other, all of a sudden there's now more space and less space for the darkness. The challenge is that we even see there a difference between the light and the darkness. Darkness doesn't exist. There's this Einstein quote that isn't really Einstein, but darkness doesn't exist. Darkness is simply the absence of light. It's a place where we haven't fully stepped in, where we haven't shown the light. Darkness isn't real. It's just the absence of. So we got to fill those voids. Fill those voids by standing in our light. The cycle of self-emergence is a journey to be able to figure out who you are, and it is a life cycle journey. We start off with self-exploration, understanding who you are. We go into resonant visioning, creating a future that's in alignment with who we are, being intentional with our actions to be able to create that life, and then looking at how we feel about what we've experienced in our life to give us new knowledge and new understanding of who we truly are, and allowing that to create the cycle. Self-exploration. There are three aspects to self-exploration that I want to talk about. I want to talk about self-knowledge, self-efficacy, and self-awareness. Self-exploration. There's a concept in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, the study of excellence, the mindsets of greatness. And they say the map is not the territory. The map represents a geographic location, but it's not the same thing as actually experiencing the place. You can enhance the map, you can give it pictures, you can even do a topography where you have now all these different layers on there. Still not the same as going to the place. I've been to Spain and I've seen a lot of pictures and all this stuff, but when I went, oh my God, drastically different experience. You can hear about the heat in Phoenix, but until you cook an egg on your driveway, it's just not the same thing. Like, it's just not the same thing as experiencing it. Self-knowledge is about enhancing your map. It's about learning who you are and who you're not. It's taking feedback from your environment and looking and going, okay, so is this truly who I am? The best way to do that is to be able to just experiment, to play, to find out what aligns, what doesn't. Self-efficacy. There have been a lot of studies that I've looked at that look at self-efficacy along with other variables of success. The number one determining factor in any study that looks at success that includes self-efficacy as an option, self-efficacy is the number one determining factor on whether or not you're successful. Self-efficacy is your belief in yourself. That quote, it's like, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. That actually has scientific validity now. They have done enough studies to show your belief in yourself determines your resilience, your ability to overcome obstacles, your ability to problem solve. Because if you believe you can do something, then you're going to keep working at the problem until you figure out a way around it. Resiliency is tied to your self-efficacy. Your belief in yourself comes from you parenting that little kid. So that line I had you write down, I'm the adult now, I'm in charge. You get to create that self-efficacy because you get to give that to yourself. Self-knowledge is knowing who you are. Self-efficacy is believing in yourself. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is knowing when you're being you and when you're not. There is a drastic difference between being a chameleon and being out of alignment with who you are. Adapting how I communicate, changing the way that I show up, being bubbly. Hey guys, how you doing? Like, that's not me. I can totally turn that on. It's natural for me. I'm a complete goofball, but I'm deep, but I'm also that. So recognizing that who I am is the spectrum of all of it, and how I display that may be different, but there's a difference when I'm not being me. I'm divorced, and I'm divorced for a very different reason than most people are. When I had my little girl, my ex-wife needed me to motivate her using certain strategies that were out of alignment with who I am, and I knew it. She needed negative motivators. She needed harsh talk. She needed me to be mean or demeaning in order for her to push herself to grow, to be able to do the next thing. So she wanted to run a business, and I'm like, okay, well, then you got to do this, and you can do this, and you can do this, and let's figure it out. And she wouldn't do it. I'm like, are you that stupid? And she'd be like, oh, what? She'd go off and do it. And I always hated myself for doing it. But it's what she needed, and I could adapt. That's me knowing who I am. I'm adaptable. But I was living out of alignment with who I truly was. And when I had my daughter, I realized that my daughter was watching how I treated her mom. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I said, here's the thing. I can't continue to use pain to motivate you because I don't want to teach that to our daughter. And so I either need you to adjust or this isn't going to work. And we had a fight. And I said, the next time we have this kind of a fight, I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to give you a kiss. And I'm going to tell you, I'll see you next week. And I'm going to go find a place to stay for a week because we can't keep doing this. So we had a fight, and I just stood up. I gave her a hug, a kiss on the forehead. And I said, I got to go. And she goes, you're not leaving. I go, I am. I told you I was. I love you. She spent some time and she said, I decided, I said, how do we work through this? And we had these discussions, like we had really powerful discussions during this week. And I said, how do we get through this? And she said, give me a day. And she thought about it. She came back. She says, what I need is I need you to disconnect from me entirely for the next 3 days, rest of the week, so that it will hurt bad enough that I'll never do this again. To which I said, I want a divorce. She goes, what? I said, I told you, I can't have you keep asking me to hurt you in order to create change. It's not the way I want to live, and it's not what I want to teach my daughter. My ex-wife and I have an incredible co-parenting relationship. We go to the park together, we spend time together. And when I'm spending time with my daughter, I go, who's the best? She goes, mommy. And I go, great, mommy is the best. Who else? Daddy. Daddy's the best. She just gets sad. She misses her mom. I go, yeah, your mom's an amazing person. And I said, and I talk very highly about her. We have an amazing co-parenting relationship. In fact, my parenting coach laughs and goes, your shit doesn't exist. Like that doesn't happen. Right. Because I still love her. And I want anything I can to make sure that she's okay and that she's taken care of. And I needed to align my actions with who I was. And I couldn't do that in that relationship. So I made a decision. Is this making sense to you guys? I'm being vulnerable. I'm being real. I'm sharing a lot of stuff I don't share on stage, but it's quite frankly because one of the things Elias has done is he's created a space where I feel safe to share anything. That's the relationship he's always created around me, where I feel good just to be able to stand up and share. So thank you for that, Elias. I appreciate that, man. So when you have self-knowledge, self-efficacy, and self-awareness, the next thing you do is you need to set a goal. The challenge is how many of you guys, I'm going to pull the screen up so that I can see you guys a little bit better. Okay, let's move this, pull this open. Okay, I want interaction. How many of you guys have goals set right now? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. Some of you come off mute. Some of you tell me, what are your goals? What are you working toward? I want a couple of goals. Go ahead and unmute. Just have a free-for-all.
I want to buy.
Who can be the first one? All right, go, Ashley.
Go, Ashley.
I was like, I'll talk. I want to buy a duplex.
I want to buy a duplex. Okay, awesome. Elias, what's your goal?
Personal or professional?
Professional.
Professional goal this year to break our last year's record, even in a downturn market.
Perfect. Okay, let's see. Who else? What else we got?
I would say my personal goal is to close 10 more transactions for the year or for business. And then my personal goal is to complete the full 75-day hard challenge, which today I'm on day 3. And for me personally, 75 hard is just the start. I actually haven't said it out loud, but I actually want to go kind of sober the rest of the year.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. What else? Got one more. Give me one more, guys.
I'll go. My goal for my career is to get more out into my community and share my experience, and with my experience, give people the opportunity to know more about purchasing and the appraisal industry and just how to better create their wealth for them and their kids.
That's awesome. Thank you, Dominique. I appreciate you sharing. Guys, we all set goals and targets. And so in this cycle of self-emergence, one of the things I talk about is resonant visioning. Goals are important because they let you know if you're making path and direction towards what it is that you want to live. They're important because they're milestones and they're markers. But what I want to talk about is I want to talk about the importance of a vision, and as well as differentiating the difference between goals and markers. I go hiking. I used to live up in the Pacific Northwest. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Oregon, and I spent a lot of time in Washington out in the mountains. And what we do is we pull out a compass and I look off in the distance and I choose something way off in the distance. And as I hike, I just keep my eye on that thing and I do whatever I need to do. And then I pull out the compass, I'd readjust, I choose another marker, and I keep going. That long distance vision allowed me to know that I was still on track, heading in the right direction. Vision is important. You guys talked about it at the beginning of this call, and I love that because it is so important to have a purpose and a vision that's bigger than you. It's got to be aligned with who you truly are. So when you're setting your goals, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your goals are in alignment with your purpose, mission, vision, and values. Write that down. Purpose, mission, vision, and values. Purpose. Why are you here? Life purpose, career purpose. What's the purpose of your career? My career, to inspire possibility. My life purpose, to awaken people to possibility and magic. God, when people go, not from I can't to I can to what if, that's the thing that lights me up. When I watch someone go from I can't do it to what if I could? Like, that's what lights me up. And then I pass them off to somebody who gets them to I can. Cool, go. What is your purpose? Why are you here? Vision. What is the reality you are trying to create? What is the life you want to live, and who do you want to be? I see a world where, write this down. I see a world where, ... Answer that question and light up your heart. That'll give you your vision. Next one. When I'm being truly me, I ... When I'm being truly me, I ... That'll help give you your vision. Because you want to be you, living in the world you want to create. That's the goal. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. All in your mind, all in social standards. I want to be a wealthy playgirl who makes a lot of money and has a bunch of guys buying stuff for me. And I want to be a playboy who has a lot of money, who has a lot of girls buying stuff for me. Awesome, go that route. I want to be a person who has a drastic impact in the community, giving to charities with a family that I love and I cherish. Awesome, go that route. What do you want to do? Be you, dude. I don't care. I know my life, I know my values, and that's what I'm going to live by. And I want everybody to be able to live by theirs. Biggest thing that I had to learn in the therapy work that I did is that everybody has their own reality. If you guys have a pen and a paper and you're writing this down, I want you to write down this equation. 8 + 8 = 91. Aaron, play with me on this. I see you writing it down. Oh, unmute your mic. If you look at that equation, is it right or is it wrong?
I mean, it looks wrong.
It looks wrong, right? And I say it's right. You say it's wrong. So if I'm sitting here and I'm arguing with you that that equation is correct and you're telling me it's wrong, what do you think about me?
That you're wrong.
Right. So now here's the thing. Flip that equation around. Flip it upside down. Now what do you think?
It's weird.
Right?
It looks right.
Now it's right. You and I have very differing opinions. You look at the equation, you see 8 + 8 = 91. I look at the exact same equation. You say it's wrong, I say it's right. We're looking at the same equation with two different views, and there's no way in hell this can be correct because we have two different views looking at the exact same thing. But the thing is that when you look at it, you see 8 + 8 = 91, and I see 16 = 8 + 8. My perspective changes whether or not it's right or it's wrong. Doesn't mean either one of us. So we can have conflicting views about the exact same thing and both of us be right. The minute you can hold that every view is correct, it's just a matter of perspective, changes your world. The importance of a vision is it allows you to know where to draw your boundaries. It allows you to know what's aligned and what's not. That vision allows you to know where am I headed, and allows you to invite people to come with you. My goal in my business is to create a nonprofit that donates $2.1 million to help eradicate mental and emotional issues. I want people to be able to go get coaches, therapy work that they can't afford, that insurance doesn't pay for, to truly change their lives. $1 million a year going to that. I want to help people get in the change field. I want scholarships for that. And I want to do community programs and community advocacy. This is what I'm building. Who wants to come? This is my life. This is what I do. I believe that one of the biggest challenges we face is that people aren't seen. They think there's something wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with you. The problem is that you don't see you the way I do, because I see you as infinitely powerful, valuable, safe, and loved. And I want you to see that too. That's what I'm doing. All of this disc stuff, I'm teaching you how to adapt to allow other people to be okay, but in the same essence, I'm teaching you are. Does this make sense to you guys? Are you seeing how this works? So now I've got the vision, and my goal needs to be set based upon who I want to be. Not what do I want to do, not what do I want to have, who I want to be and what's important to me. If we set goals based upon money, it's never about the money. It's what the money will do for you. Is it because you want a return on investment? Is it because you want to be the best? Is it because you want to take care of your family? Why? You have to give your goals a why that touches your heart. If you don't, it won't work. The difference between a goal and a marker, a goal touches your heart. A goal motivates you, and it inspires you, and it moves you. When you talk about your goal, it damn well better light you up. Excuse my language, but it damn well better light you up. And if it doesn't, it's a marker. Not a bad thing. It just lets you know if you're on the right track. Vision gives you your direction. Goals give you momentum. Markers let you know how you're doing. The next thing is about being intentional with living. Once you have your destination, you've let go of the things that are holding you back. You know who you are. You get clear on where you want to head. Now you have to take action. When you're taking action, there are 4 different aspects to consider. I want you to write these things down. Self-discipline, self-control, self-leadership, self-submission. Self-discipline, self-control, self-leadership, self-submission. The myth of self-discipline. The myth of self-discipline is this. Self-discipline is getting yourself to do what you don't want to do. It's forcing yourself to take action even when you don't feel it. It's taking the action when the feelings aren't there. How many of you have heard self-discipline explained this way? Okay, that is called abuse. That is not self-discipline. That is called abuse. Forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do is called abuse. That's not self-discipline. Self-discipline is about taking the action to move you towards your goals and your objectives consistently. And what that is it's self-submission. And you don't submit to someone you don't trust. You don't submit to someone you don't believe in. You submit to someone who you feel safe, who's helped you feel seen, safe, accepted, and protected. Self-discipline, true self-discipline, comes from being a good leader of yourself. Remember that story I told you where I said it's okay to sit there and feel that emotion, sit down in the chair and feel? That was the day I gave myself trust in me. That was the day I stopped that voice in my head telling me I'm not enough and I'm not good enough and you're worthless and you can't do this. Because that was me using a stick to beat myself into submission, as opposed to going, dude, I know it's hard, but I know you can do this. Elias, you are one of the most profound leaders. I've listened to you coach and talk and work with people. You always find a way to touch their heart and inspire them to take one more step. Like, that's one of the things I love about you, dude. And that's one of the things that we need to learn to do for ourselves. When you make a mistake, give yourself the grace and say, hey, you tried, man. Girl, pick up, take another step. I'm so proud of you. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a daughter, and you're trying to do everything you can. And you got stress pressing you from all sides, and yet you still took that 5 minutes versus, yeah, you're so selfish for wasting that time going to the nail salon. No, you gave a gift to yourself. Feel good about that. Self-submission is about creating an environment where you feel seen, safe, accepted, and protected by yourself. And that's where you're able to lead yourself into action and take action and do things that you never thought you could. You can only empower others when they feel safe to try. And you can only empower yourself when you give yourself the same grace. Tomorrow, I'll tell you guys about it, but I'm running a class on unlocking the secrets of leadership and influence. It's a name your price, no cost, come and join. I'm going to be going deep into this subject and helping you understand how to lead others, but don't think about it from another's perspective. Think about leading yourself. If you want to achieve your impossible, all you have to do is believe in yourself, set a goal aligned with it, and then be a good leader. Be a good leader for you. The next step is reflective evolution. This is the last step in the process, but it's not the last step in the cycle. The cycle continues to go, spirals. We'll talk about that next. I want you guys to write 3 columns, past, present, and future. This is probably going to be one of the last things we're going to talk about before I open up for some Q&A. Past, present, future. Past, present, future. I need to remember I'm mirrored. Past, present, future. In the past column, I want you to write these words down. Gratitudes, celebrations, wins. When you think about your past, you should never reflect on anything but your gratitude, celebrations, and wins, ever. That is your past. You cannot change your past. Thinking about one of the worst questions I hear coaches ask all the time is, how could you have handled that better? How could you have handled that differently? The challenge with that presupposes you had the ability and did it, which installs guilt and shame. Knowing what you know now, how could you handle that better next time? Better question. So out in the future, put your lessons. Lessons go in the future. Put them into the future. If you're going to reflect on the past for lessons, move them to the future as quick as you can. Given the exact same situation, what are you going to put in place to make sure that mistake doesn't happen again? What are you going to put in place to protect yourself? Last night, I ate food I shouldn't have eaten way late at night because I didn't eat. Cool. So what can I put in place to make sure that I don't do that today? There's no good to beat myself up for what's past. I can't change it. All I can do is go forward. Lessons, goals, visions, those all go in the future. In the present, all you have is this. Write down in the present column this word, decision. Draw 2 lines because you have one decision between 2 things. This is every single moment of every single day of your entire life. The only thing you have is a decision, habit or choice. Either your unconscious mind is running the ship or you're taking conscious control and making an override. That's it. Every day you wake up, go to work, do the thing, go to bed, get up, do the thing. You are run by millions of unconscious decisions based upon habits and conditions that you've been conditioned with since you were a child. Your entire life, you've been running auto script programs and you just hit play when you wake up. And there are certain times you go, ooh, change the code, do this. And then you let it go. Every moment of every day comes down to this simple decision. Are you going to allow habit to take control or are you going to take conscious choice? Oh my God, I can't make a call. I can't make a call. Pick up the phone, touch the screen, touch it to your ear, say hello. There's nothing in that process you can't do, but you have a habit of not making the call or you have a choice to do it anyway. Habit or choice. Motivation isn't real. Motivation doesn't drive action. Motivation makes the decision to act easier or unnecessary. With enough pain or enough pleasure, you think there's not a choice, there's still a choice, but your choice is now to survive. Pain or pleasure. All it does is it influences. Get to the point where everything that you do is a choice, and then make a choice, again, based upon who you are and what's important to you. Great book on this is called Decide by Annie Duke. We look at decisions and go, was it a good decision based upon the result? Worst way to judge a decision because you can't control the result. All you control is the decision and the action. You should judge it based upon, did you make the decision based upon who you are and what's important to you? If you did, you made a good decision. The outcome played itself out. Does this make sense to you guys? So what we're doing here is we're creating a cycle in the spiral. If you're spiraling upward, it means you may face that same challenge again and again and again, but is it getting better, getting easier? Is it becoming a new flavor of that challenge where you're still learning and growing and figuring out who you are? That reflective evolution feeds into developing that map because now that you know who you are, you do something, you get a result. It's like, yeah, I want to make $1 million. So you make $1 million and you go, I feel nothing. Cool. Money is not your motivator. Good knowledge. Set a new goal and use that as feedback for you. That's it. There's no failure, there's no success. It's just feedback, helping you know who you are, allowing that true you to emerge. If you're spiraling up, it means you have a vision and a direction and you're taking feedback and you're moving in the right direction. If you're cycling, you're facing the exact same problem the exact same way, it's because you have no vision and forward movement. You don't have a path, set a goal. That's all you got to do. Set a goal, set a vision. That'll help move you so that you change it from cycling to spiraling up. If you're spiraling down, it's baggage, it's trauma. Face it, feel it, work through it. Remind yourself of who you are, infinitely valuable, powerful, safe, and loved. Remind yourself of that, and it can stop the spiral. In any given moment, whether you're going up, down, or cycling, your decision, habit, or choice can change the direction of the spiral. I want you guys to write this down. This is the last thing I want to have you guys write down, is in any given moment, my decision, habit or choice, I can change my spiral. So a couple of events I have coming up, and then I'm going to open this up. I want to open this up for insights, takeaways, Q&A. Tomorrow, from, depending upon your time zone, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time, I'm running a class called Unlocking the Secrets of Leadership and Influence. If you go to this website, youdon'tknowdis.com/YDKD, it's name your price. Put $0 in, put $1 in, put 500, whatever you guys want to put in, come and take the class. If you can't be there, get the recording. This class is going to go deep into understanding the psychology of leadership. And what I told you today is that your ability to lead yourself is going to make the difference in your success. So at least register, get the replay, watch the replay. Also, this is something I haven't announced, I haven't pushed out yet. It's going out next week. I talked with Bill Pipes this weekend. He told me I'm doing a behavioral selling boot camp. A lot of what I teach is mindset. He says you're also really good at the tactical and you don't teach that. So this is a 6-week tactical approach on behavioral selling, using behavior, personality. I haven't talked about it much. Some of you on here have watched me do it. I can walk into a room, shake someone's hand, tell you who they are, and adapt my communication and become a new person to talk to that person. This class is going to teach you a lot about that. different tools, different scripts, ways to modify the script to get better results. The code ADAPT now for the first 50 people who register drops the price down. Not going to pitch much on this, but if you're interested in behavioral selling and a tactical approach, this is a really great thing. Feel free to hit me up, my disc guy, on Instagram. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions and connect. So now what I want to do is I want to take this off. I want to stop share. I haven't been great at watching the chat. So what I want to do is I want to open up Q&A. I want to ask you, what are your takeaways? What are your insights, and what questions do you have? Thank you guys so much for being here.
Man, I'm just going to speak on behalf of everybody. Super, super powerful. I mean, I personally am going to go back and watch this. Each of you that are on this call that are team members are going to receive all the transcriptions. Then obviously we're going to upload this to YouTube and you guys can see that. So if you go to jointeamfast.com, in that entire deck, you'll see all of the Keep It Moving recordings. So you guys can go back and reference this. This is probably one of the most powerful sessions that we've ever had. And we've had some really amazing presenters here to drop their knowledge. So one of the things that I love that you said is that being clear with what your vision is. I see a world where ... and being able to say, when I look at where I want to see the world in 5-10 years from now, and being able to visualize that and now saying, okay, I'm clear on that. That's my vision. And when I'm being truly me, ... what does that actually look like? How am I showing up in this world? How am I contributing? How am I receiving? How am I giving love? So I think oftentimes people are challenged with trying to really figure out what their vision is for the world and what they're trying to create. I think this format and this process of thinking allows people to have a lot of clarity. I think when you're clear, and that makes things a lot easier. So I've tons of takeaways for me. So I'd love to hear, let's go 5 people, you guys. What are some thoughts, takeaways, insights, or contributions to this conversation? Because I want to hear from you guys, because I saw notes, I saw some emotional moments, and I just saw you guys really in tune with this conversation. So let's get 5 hands up in the queue. Let's start with Dominique, and then let's hear from you guys. I would love to hear your contributions. Let's go Dominique first. We'll go to Otis, and then let's get the hands up, you guys. This is a really powerful conversation. Let's go.
Thank you, Alex, for being here and sharing your story. One thing that I got from this, and when I put here, when I'm being truly me, I feel lighter. And what that means is, a lot of the times, as you touched on, some people have a lot of childhood trauma or things that they went through that they bring into their adulthood. And a lot of the times that trauma and that baggage sets the tone for your day as an adult. You feel heavy. You feel like there's so many things that you still haven't figured out and touched on. And so when you said, when I am being truly me, for me, I felt like I feel lighter. I feel when I'm being truly me, I'm loving, I'm positive, I'm put together, I'm organized. I'm just lighter from not taking on the baggage of my childhood. And so I just thought that was a deep one to fill in, because when I live my day in a lighter spirit, I feel so much more better. Like, I feel like I can love better. I feel like I can take care of my child better. I feel like I can love my husband better. I feel like I can, when my mom calls, not feel like she's bothering me. And so that was a very good one. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Love it. Love it. Otis. And then you guys, 3 more people. I see you guys shaking your head, taking the notes. Let's make the best use of our time here. So I don't know if that was a hand, Ashley, or that was just a clap, but let's get 3 more people in the queue. Let's go. Oh,
first off, Elias, thank you for bringing Alex. And Alex, thank you so much. Like, I don't know if you guys seen it, but I literally started crying when I first just literally heard you start to talk. It's hard to not get emotional because someone who's dealt with so much trauma, you made it feel so effortlessly, and you opened it up, and like Dominique said, you just made me feel so light. And for my mental stability, where I've been in the last 6 months, you just amplified and made everything so smooth. So thank you so much. And you're right, like, it's okay to be where you're at, and it's okay to feel the way you are. And like, even some of the guilt things, like as a parent, like I was going so hard because I didn't want to be the 9 out of 10 that didn't make it in here. And for like a good 2 months, I felt so bad. I felt like I was neglecting my son. And it was like one day out of my 4 days I was with him, and it was just really killing me. So I took some time off, and it helped me out a little bit, but it hurt me a lot. So I'm trying to get back into things, the swing of things, and a personal deal, and just like everything has been going wrong. But I feel like being here today with you, you put me on a path to where I need to be. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. One of the things I love to share is the metaphor of the seed. For me, I think about this all the time. Seed gets planted, and it's like inside, it's like beating that shell and beating that shell, and eventually it breaks through. And then these roots, they grow down into the ground, and it's like they start pulling the nutrients. And it's not for a long time before that little tiny sprout pops up, and then it starts to grow. And everyone sees that growth, but they don't see all of the work and all the stuff and the darkness and the fight and the pushing through the dirt and the soil. And it's like trying to just hold on. And quite frankly, I'm there with you. That's like knowing how to balance. I took my daughter to school early today so I could hop on calls, and it's like finding that balance and stuff. And guys, the thing is life is about emerging through who you really are. There isn't a failure. You are incredible just the way you are. And the thing is that you can always be better. In a book I had back, I think like 10 years ago, I released a book called Mastering the Art of Success. And in it, I'm like, success is the moment where you can be completely satisfied with who you are and striving for the best version of yourself at the same time with no conflict.
Wow. Really, really powerful. Thank you for that. Let's go, Dana. And then I think we have time for one more. So Dana, we'll end with George. So Dana, contributions, thoughts. Oh, and Lisette. It always takes a minute for everyone to get their hands up. Let's go, Dana.
Okay, Alex, thank you so much for being here today. I've heard about you. Our team talked about you from Play Bigger, and I was really excited to join our coaching call today. We talked about self-awareness, and I always said to myself, like, that's really important. You have to be self-aware. I thought I was self-aware, but what you said today really resonated with me about you and your ex-wife. I think the roles are reversed for myself, where I think I am behaving like your ex-wife, where I need that pain as a motivator. And I have a lot to unpack with my therapist tomorrow. So thank you for that perspective, actually, because I'm always wondering why I'm cycling. So thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Powerful. Go, George, and then Lisette, you're going to take us home.
Hey, Alex. So thank you so much. Holy smokes. I had to turn off my camera because I started bawling. I feel like it was just super powerful, especially for me, because I've gone through similar traumas as a child. And I felt like that's something that I'm working on, setting myself apart from my family. Is they've always deflected and be like, oh, you need to go to therapy, but they don't even seek it out themselves. So that's where I work super hard to put myself in rooms like this and be around people like yourself to really like grow not only my mindset, but also see a different environment. So it's truly inspiring to hear not only your story and me see similarities in my own life and my growing and my upbringing, because it truly does give me hope and shows me like what healthy relationships look like, even being in this room and seeing other people come from similar backgrounds and just how much growth everyone's done. So it's truly inspirational. And I actually just signed up for the foundations. So thank you again.
Awesome.
God, love it. And then let's end with you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Alex. That was so powerful. Everything you said hit home, but the one that I can't stop thinking about was the 8x8 equals 91 example. To me, that is so powerful because, in all honesty, when you first said that example, my natural reaction was to immediately say, oh, that's wrong. I can't even listen to you. My mind can't even be open because I know you're wrong. And then I said, no, there could be more than one answer, so open your mind. And I think that's the biggest conflict me personally am having just overall in life, is understanding that there isn't just one answer. There could be more than one answer. There could be more than one perspective. And in order to find solutions, if you just open your mind to understanding that it's not a right or wrong, it's just different perspectives, it's everything. And then you turned it upside down and it's right? Or it's what we think is right. So thank you, because that is exactly what I needed to hear right now, is just don't be so closed-minded. Open your mind to different perspectives because it will change the outcome.
so much. It is so incredibly valuable when you're able to sit and look at the world around you and not create conflict, but instead create opportunity. Opportunity comes from accepting that everybody is doing the best they can with the resources they have, and everybody's right. Everybody's right. Their perspective is correct. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, it is. From their perspective, everyone has their own reality. We have more than 2 million bits coming in. We process 126. Nobody has the same reality. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us. I really appreciate that. So
you guys, as we wrap up, and Alex, sorry for interrupting you, I just wanted to, send you light and love and say thank you for being here. This room is different, and it's always been different. And the reason why we do this is because I truly love you guys and I want to see you grow. Literally, there's no other reason, right? I can do these sessions and just be like, oh, well, it's just like a tactical session, but that's not who I am, right? It's not who I am. So I'm wired differently. And so I believe that there's a level of emotion that goes into these calls on purpose. Do we also talk about strategies? 100%. But I want to make sure that we're deep rooted in the people that we are, and we understand this person. We understand our own vessel in order to be better for the people that we are trying to serve. And it's a journey. It's a journey of self-exploration. And that's why we talk about this quite a bit, you guys. So thank you for being here. And thank you just for being open to receive the information. And my hope is that we continue to grow this room. We continue to bring guests into our environment that are going to have an impact on you, not just for today, but for years and years to come. And that's what I believe we're taking away from this session. So thank you for all of our guests for being here. Alex, sending you light and love. I have a favor for everybody. If you took a video, if you grabbed a picture of anything today, post it on Instagram and just give Alex and I a share. Would love to be able to blow up Instagram because of today's session. And then you guys have an amazing, amazing day. And as always, you guys keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and have an amazing, amazing day. Peace.